understand that you got to be very much realistic, that nobody has an idea that what it's going to be, right? So nobody has an idea whether it's going to be traditional DI, traditional LR, or it's going to be on the same level. If you look at from last 3 to 4 years, right, your logical reasoning and data interpretation is more of weird stuff. You're getting quants based DIs and you're getting logic based DIs, and like lot of stuff is happening in this area. Anyway, having said that, you will be getting 32 questions. Okay, now you need a benchmark, because when you are writing this exam, right, you need to benchmark to understand how much your attempt should be. So the benchmark is going to be 2017 actual CAT paper. So guys, once you start your paper for LRDI section, right, you have no other option than scanning your paper. You got to scan it. If you're not scanning your entire section, then you will not be able to attempt and score eventually. So the first thing that you need to do is scan it. See, you have ample of time. You got 60 minutes. And trust me, in 60 minutes, you will not be able to crack all those 8 sets. So trust me, you can take your own time. You can take 10 minutes. You can take 5-7 minutes to kind of nicely scan through all the 8 sets. Not to read by them, but just scan through. Okay. So if you feel that after scanning that, okay, the paper is on a same level of 2017, maybe a little bit easier or maybe a little bit tough, you have to follow the benchmark of 2017 question attempts, right? So for example, for 80 percentile, you had to attempt around about 8. For 90, it was 10 to 11. For 95, it is going to be around about 12 to 13 questions. For 99 plus is going to be around about 15 plus questions, right? So this is going to be your benchmark which you will be following if your paper level of difficulty is on 2017 level. So that's the benchmark that we have, right? So this is the first thing that you need to understand, that you should be looking at your paper, rather you should be looking at the entire section and scanning it by hook or by crook. Now, out of these 8 sets, how the strategy works out here? Out of these 8 sets, okay, looking at the past trend, 2 sets will be easily manageable. There is no doubt about it. You will get 2 sets. With 2 sets, you can kind of go ahead with your 80 percentile. Now, for the fact you will be taking a time to kind of solve these questions, right? You will be actually spending, you will be investing a good amount of time on this. I can expect a maximum accuracy, right? Now, as far as your sets are concerned, guys, if you're trying to attempt 6 to 7 sets or around about 5 to 6 sets, I think this is quite unrealistic, because there might be an exceptional talent, but when I look at the average number of students, or when I look at the maximum population, I think this is going to be unrealistic. Let's not talk about attempting 5 to 6 sets. It's even difficult to read all the 5 to 6 sets. So you got to be very much realistic whenever you approach LRDI. So 2 sets is going to be the first thing that you're looking at, right? So when you scan the stuff, right, after scanning, what you need to understand, which are those 2 sets out of 8 sets which I'm going to pick up and which will give me 80 percentile plus. That's number 1. So you have to understand how you're going to optimize your score by taking those LRDI sets which are easy ones. Now the thing is that here you will not be able to understand which one is LR and which one is DI. So kind of don't fall for these things that, okay, I'm good at DI, so I'm going to pick that up. I don't think that's going to be the really case, to be very honest, okay? But yeah, your main thing should be calculation based questions you'll be picking up, and you'll be picking up questions which has a good amount of data, I would say numbers. This is something that you can try to work it out. So as far as your LRDI is concerned, attempt 2 to 3 sets maximum. 2 to 3 sets maximum. Have an attention, like rather kind of, keep these numbers in your mind. 2 to 3 sets, you are done and dusted out here. Okay. Now, so once you are done with 2 to 3 questions, or say once you are done with these 2 sets, what you need to do? You have 6 sets left. If you take a close look at logical reasoning and data interpretation section last year, which is 2017, 2 sets were easily manageable. Rest of the 6 sets, even if you look at them, you'll be able to know that all questions, like if I take set 1 or whatever, 4 questions, all the 4 questions were not tough. In all sets, the rest of the 6 sets, bare minimum 1 question was easily manageable. Now you have the option. Now you can either solve the rest of 6 sets, 6 questions, and you can go like 14-15 questions kind of a benchmark. But again, that's not going to be realistic. So what I say is, out of these 6 sets, right, pick up only 3 sets, right? Whatever time has been left, like after solving these 2 sets, say 30, 35, 40 minutes, pick up any 3 sets, try to understand the easy ones, and try to attempt only 1 question out of each. This is the way you can increase your accuracy. See guys, there has to be, now this might not sound realistic to you as well, but but there has to be this kind of number of attempts which will fetch you 95 percentile plus. Yes, if you're okay with 80 percentile, 90 percentile, I think 10 questions are gonna do the job for you guys. But more than that, you need to attempt around about 12 to 13 questions if you're really expecting to get 95 percentile. Now, what's going to happen is, the question is that how do you pick up those questions? How do you pick up that kind of a set which will kind of, give you an edge over the people? So I'm going to walk you guys through very quickly the 2017 paper, and let's understand how do you kind of neglect the set and pick up the set. Alright, 2017 slot 1. Now this is the question number 1, that's 35, right? Now if you look at this question, right, what I see here is that, okay, you have to read this question, no doubt about it. But look at the data that is given to you. It's a small data, right? And these are conditions, I would say. Right? So you have these 3 clients and then you have the conditions out here. And then I go a little bit down, I scroll down, I see, look at the options, okay, the options are cool enough. 10:17, so options are not that weird as such. For the fact you have these conditions, the entire question is going to be round about these 3 conditions, right? So I think it's a good question to kind of pick it up. Now if you scroll down, right, if you look at the second and the third question, again, assuming client's order can be processed, that's number 1. If you look at, suppose the employees are allowed to, so this question, rather the one condition has come down, and on the basis of that condition you have the another question, right? Now this kind of question should be attempted because the entire question is based on this data which is given to you. Now I really don't have time to kind of walk you through the entire stuff, but yes, if you give yourself a little bit time, if you understand this question, healthy bites, I think it's okay to kind of go ahead with this kind of questions. Now let's move ahead and try to attempt another question. This is a question which has a database. Now don't you think this is little weird as far as CAT is concerned? Look at the numbers, they're like rounded off, they're not even 4253 kind of a thing, right? They're like 4200, 5000, these are like easy numbers. What I don't understand is if you go through this, so this is going to be your checkpoint. Okay, now the numbers are looking good, let me kind of have a look at what's happening in here. So you'll understand, it talks about some, there are 3 states are there, the primary education and all that. Again, what you have in down here is, again, a condition. Now that's number 2. So okay, you have a data, you've got a condition which is given. Now what do you have in down? So you have here the options like 37, 6, 79, 56. This is the first time I see in CAT that your options are so bloody wide, right? So you should be happy about it. It's not only question number 39, but even for your 40 number is the same thing, okay? So if you look at this kind of question, now what you can do is once the video is done, you can actually see this kind of questions. Here, the only thing that's getting added is a possibility or kind of an addition about the same sum. So I think these kind of sums are good to be picked up as far as your beginning of the section is concerned. Again guys, understand this, even if you look at the data, right, look at this question number 41. What do you have in here? 25%, 50%, 50%. This is nothing but a data, purely data, right? There is no gyan, like not much of the gyan given out here. And again, look at your options, again they're wide enough. Number 42, same stuff. Again, you see, the only thing that you see here, remember what I said like a couple of minutes back, numbers, database, right? I think that's the only thing. Okay, this is a little bit close. You might want to leave this question, but again, now once you get the crux, the only thing that you have to do here is solve this table, add the information, and you are good to go. So these kind of sets you can take. Just by looking at this question, I am really not going to be in favor of this question because this question is more of a gyan. Again, look at the possibilities, look at your options, 3 or 10, 10, 5, 7 or 10. So there are a lot of possibilities. You might not be able to get it because you have to churn the data, you have to understand the data, comprehend the data, make heck lot of notes. Big no for these kind of questions. Any question that has big gyan, big no. It doesn't mean that you have to leave it forever. No, that's not what I'm saying. When you scan it, right, you need to understand, okay, this is not something going to be my take, right? So I will not be kind of picking it up. And if you are short on number of questions, if you're not able to get good set after scanning the paper, if you're not able to get that good set which can give you around about 8 to 10 questions, then I think you can have a look at this question back again and try to solve it. So I'm saying that you need to leave this at a first go when you choose your 2 sets out of 8 sets, right? That's what it is. This was a blunder. This happiness index sum took away बहुत लोगों का happiness. So guys, I don't know why even people went for it, because I think, this is something a kind of a trouble for you guys, because if you look at one table is here, bar graph, people got excited, oh wow, bar graph, and then they scroll down. Okay, pretty short questions, right? But I think this question was one of the toughest questions. But still, even if you look at this question, yeah, it will take you a lot of time to get your working done. But after your working, you will always get 2 questions manageable. So guys, again, it's your call. how smartly you use your brains and how good you have your presence of mind, which will decide, which question set you will be picking up. By now, we have decided that, okay, healthy bite is going to be the number one, and the school one, the primary education, like these two sets were like easily manageable. Now you can kind of, go for these kind of things. If you look at it, again talks about T1, T2, like you must have solved these kind of questions in your mocks, maybe in the previous CAT paper. So I think this is kind of a question which is again good to go, but again it depends on your expertise. I'm not saying that you'll be only able to crack 2 questions. You may be able to crack more than 2. Like this kind of a question can be taken by maybe an average student or more than the average, but I'm very sure healthy bites and the primary education was for everybody out there. Okay, so again you can have a look at this question if you feel. I think this is still manageable. Yeah, so any kind of a set wherein something like this, wherein you see that okay, there needs to be an arrangement that needs to be done, I think you can pick it up and you can move ahead with that. This question basically, not a lot of people could solve this, but again, once you are done with your 2 sets, right? Once you are done with your 2 sets, like 8 questions, 7 to 8 questions, I think these kind of questions you can take, not expecting a lot from these questions. 4 में से अगर 1 या 2 questions भी बन गया, I think it should be good enough, right? So that's the strategy. 2 sets completely, out of those 6 sets, 2-3 questions maximum to kind of breach the 90 percentile ka benchmark. Okay, this airline question was nice. Actually, it was a combination of permutation and combination. It was based on the PNC concept. So I think if you guys are good with PNC concept, you can go ahead. At least out of 4, trust me, 2 questions were really manageable. They were not that bizarre, okay? So 2 questions were really manageable. So guys, long story short, in your data interpretation and logical reasoning section, 2 sets will be manageable. You got to find them out with the help of strategies that just I showed you, right? That's number 1. Number 2, rest of the 6 sets, you don't have to indulge yourself in all the 6 sets. Make sure that out of the 6, take 50%, 3 sets. Out of those 3 sets, try to crack at least 3 questions. Even if you're reaching 11 or 12 questions, you're fairly 95 percentile. Trust me, like between 90 to 95. And again, it depends, how paper is and how good you are with the calculations and how good you have the mindset on the D-Day to solve logical reasoning and data interpretation. So anyways, guys, that's all from my side for you. I wish you good luck for your CAT paper. Thank you so much.